Oof.
Oof.
I don't make a lot of mixed drinks. That's why.
I don't either. I had that same problem. I took a little bit of extra time to perfect mine.
I did not, but it's okay. It's not bad.
We'll survive. And welcome back to Beerfield Fantasy Football. It is technically our first episode of the real NFL offseason. Is the Chiefs have won the Super Bowl over the 49ers for anybody that was living under a rock. I am your host at Hop BFF, Chris Hopper. As always, joined by Thury BFF, Dan Thury. I'm in St. Louis. He's in Illinois. Dan, what's up?
What's up?
What's
Just,
up?
I worked all day. I'm home
Me
now.
too.
I don't make a lot of mixed drinks, so you guys are gonna have a treat from us today.
So I got home, like, I've been working stupid early hours and everything, completely exhausted, and I'm not a napper. Like, my body is fundamentally opposed to naps, which is something a lot of people find weird. So I do this thing where I go into this just lethargic state where I'm awake, but I'm just completely non-functional
Okay.
at all. Like, it's like sleeping, but I'm cognizant of what's going on. So that was about 2 hours after I got home from work before I decided to start doing anything.
Sure. That's fun.
Best way to do it. All right, we got a show for you today. We've got some mixed drinks, which I think is a show first. I don't think we've done cocktails on the show before. But when Krabby sent us their beer, we made a promise we'd do a cocktail episode. So we're doing a cocktail episode with some of that. We got some news, we got shit we saw on Twitter, and then we're gonna do something that's probably gonna be really fun for us. It might be pretty fun to listen to. For those of you that are frequent listeners, before the season started, a listener sent us in their rookie draft and had us, review it. What did we think? Kind of power rank the league and everything. Do a league preview episode. So in today's look back, we had to look back on that and see how that league actually turned out. He's nice enough to send us in notes and a full recap and pretty much do the show prep for us. So we're going to chat about that and see how good we were at predicting that league with everything on paper.
Shout out to Derek. Derek is the listener that sent us in. Derek is the listener that literally did all of our work. I mean, he went back and notated what we said and just kind of the key acquisitions throughout the year, trades that went down. So
which is going to be fun.
Props to you, sir.
Because my wife will tell you I'm real bad about remembering what I said, so this will be good.
I don't. There's some things I'm like, I really said that?
Yeah. Why did I say that? That was stupid.
I must have been drunk.
We probably were. Speaking of which,
what's fueling Beerfield?
by the way, Beerfield Fantasy Football on YouTube. Like, subscribe, hit the notification icon to interact with us as the show goes on, and know when we're actually recording things. We release on Wednesdays and or Thursdays, depending. But, we could be recording it at any point during the week, so that's how you figure that one out. Anyway, as I mentioned earlier, we both have cocktails featuring Krabby's ginger beer. So, Dan, what did you land on with your ginger beer?
I went with the traditional Moscow Mule. I picked up my company branded vodka called Clark and Sheffield. I think it was formerly called Batch One. I don't know if it's the same or not, but I picked up some of the real lime juice, sprinkled that in there, mixed this up. I did not put a mint in there. I just couldn't find mint. I didn't want to spend that much time looking for it.
No Andy's lying around, or
what's that?
No Andy's mints lying around.
Yeah, I don't have any. We ate all of the Girl Scout cookie mints. I figured that would have been a nice touch, but here we are.
Yep, so I'm drinking a Dark and Stormy. I'm not a big fan of Moscow Mule, so I let Dan take that one. Dark and Stormy is basically rum, normally lime juice, and ginger beer. In this case, I'm using Plantation Dark Rum, which is one of my favorite under $30 bottles of rum. I typically don't use the $50 stuff in mixed drinks. So went with Plantation. Not the overproof either, by the way. The overproof is dangerous. So
I actually have a bottle of it sitting right by me. So if you're watching on YouTube, you're gonna see me. You're gonna see me hold the bottle up
of overproof.
No, of just a dark,
just
a dark rum.
The regular Plantation dark rum. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they also do an overproof version, which is I think 110 proof, which tastes just like the regular dark rum, and it'll get you. Shout out Zach.
It will.
But yeah. So dark and stormy. In this case, Krabby's ginger beer, Plantation dark rum, and then a splash of lemon juice. Normally you'd use lime, but I didn't have lime, so lemon's the next best thing. Clearly, we went grocery shopping for this.
Clearly. Clearly, we care.
All right. I still don't have a good drop for shit seen on Twitter because I just haven't made one. So
you've been busy. It's fine.
We have been busy. So, yeah. Hum in your head for a second. All right. Shit seen on Twitter. We're going to start off 3 of those today that I want to discuss. And the first one is not NFL related. So... kicking over to different sports here. I couldn't find anything fun and personal to talk about, but kicking it over to baseball for a minute. So Pete Rose is petitioning the MLB for reinstatement again, following the Astros cheating scandal. So it's kind of bringing up this whole debate of what is worse. Was it worse for Pete Rose to bet on games that he was playing in, or was it worse for the Astros and the Red Sox to steal signs? And we were putting all of the other Pete Rose things aside for this discussion, just purely on baseball. So, Dan, your opinion, does Pete Rose deserve reinstatement? Was betting worse? Was sign stealing worse? What was more detrimental to the game of baseball?
Well, he also put steroids, I think, as a cite to why he should be let back in, as opposed to this just to the actual question. I would think stealing signs would be worse. The cheating's happening in game with actual players. I don't know a whole ton about baseball. I know a little bit about. I don't know how long Pete Rose has been.
Definitely since the 70s. Since the 70s. So
betting's pretty bad because I think he was coaching. Wasn't he coaching?
He was coaching, but I think he was betting on his own team. I don't believe he ever bet against the Reds.
Okay. See. I don't know. I don't think you should be betting at all when you're coaching. So I understand why. I don't, he's been trying to get it. I know he's a, great player. I think he had 4,000 hits or some shit like that. So he's clearly a good baseball player. I would think though that you have, combination of, or not combination, you have multiple players with the Sox and Astros and probably countless other teams that just haven't had the light shut on them yet. Doing the sign stealing thing. Obviously, the Astros won a World Series kind of based around this. I would think that would be worse. I don't know if I'm going to use that, as a premise to let Pete Rose back in. Yeah. You can't treat this as
I'm no good, you're no better.
Yeah, that's like, I'm sorry, I only ripped half her shirt off. I shouldn't go to jail, but this guy, he ripped her pants. Like there's separate. They're separate problems. That was a bad example, but they're separate.
That got dark.
Yeah, sorry. It's been a while. I try to not to make it stupid, but anyways, they're separate problems that should be treated separately and not as trying to use as leverage to get back into baseball.
So I'm gonna take a little bit different approach. I think he should be. And I've said this for a while. I think he should be reinstated, and it's purely based on the fact that he never, from what we know, bet against the Reds. He was betting on his own team to win. He was not doing something that affected the outcome or the integrity of the game, albeit explicitly banned. He did break the rules. He was not doing anything that would have impacted the integrity of the game. Now, sign stealing has always been part of gamesmanship, but you kind of got to draw the line of, okay, if you figure out somebody's signs and you're relaying them from second base or relaying them from the outfield, okay, that's part of the chess match. It's part of the mental game of baseball. If you're watching film, then electronically zooming in to steal sides and banging on trash cans and relaying pitches to the batter through electronic and digital means that goes beyond the normal gamesmanship of sign stealing, then I just don't think there's a place for that, because at that point you are directly affecting the outcome of games, and you are effectively impacting the integrity of the sport. And I think that that's a bigger scandal than betting on your own team to win.
Yeah, I mean, so did you always think that Pete Rose should have never been banned then? Because it sounds like it.
Yes, I have always felt like he did not deserve the lifetime ban hammer for that. I think that suspension would have been worth it, but I think the lifetime ban was an overreaction. Should he have been suspended? Yeah, he explicitly broke the rules. Should he have been banned for life? And should the greatest hitter of all time that did it clean not be in the Hall of Fame because he bet on his own team to win? Nah, I'm not so sure about that.
I've always been on that same side. The fact that we went through the steroids era, I know, granted, those players aren't in the Hall of Fame at all.
Yeah, they're not catching votes, but still.
The fact that they can be voted on is also an issue. But did he lie about it too? Did he not come clean about it right away?
He might have. I don't recall.
Because I could see that playing a part into it.
Wasn't alive in the 70s, but either way, I think that the punishment.
I'm sure there's stories around.
Yeah, I could have read Wikipedia, but either way, to me, the punishment has to fit the crime, more or less. And you made that dark analogy. Well, here's how I put it: I snuck a pack of gum into my pocket and walked out of the store, which is more harmful than betting on your own team to win a game. Versus, I went in, shot the storekeeper, and threw the cash register in my bag and walked out. Both a robbery. It's like both things are explicitly against the rules, but one is way worse than the other, and you're going to get more for murder and armed robbery than you will be for shoplifting.
Yes.
Punishment has to fit the crime.
I agree. He should. I'm not going to. I don't agree with him using this as a leverage to get back in. I still think it needs to be dealt with separately.
No, but I get him saying, hey, wait a second.
Oh, no, of course.
These guys didn't, pretty much didn't get lifetime bans. One of them was suspended indefinitely. Everybody else got a year. So I don't agree with using it as leverage. Well, this guy cheated too, but I definitely think that he has the right to stand up and say, hey, wait a second, this was fundamentally worse than what I did, and the punishment's a lot lighter.
Well, let's hope that the MLB and the Rules Committee or whoever takes care of this can
it'll be
see that too. I like to see the greatest hitter in baseball, get acknowledged for his accolades and doing it without the use of drugs and other means.
Yep. All right, moving on. Next thing I read on Twitter that I thought was worth discussing. A lot of outrage over the Super Bowl MVP. Or I shouldn't say outrage, but a lot of debate over the Super Bowl MVP thing. Patrick Mahomes was the Super Bowl MVP. He was very, very lackluster for the first 3 quarters, 2 interceptions, under 200 yards. He did turn it on in the fourth and help lead them to a win. Quick scoring happens almost through Mahomes. But was Damian Williams snubbed for being relatively good the whole game, or did Patrick Mahomes deserve it as orchestrator of the comeback?
When I made a tweet out about, I thought that it should have went to Damian Williams. I was hammered when I sent it out. Not much has changed since
I tried to trade you.
Sobered up. What's that?
I tried to trade you for a new co-host.
Yeah, you tried to trade me for new co-host. Obviously, heated waters. You hate Damian Williams. I recognize a good situation. But it really plays into the fact is that how important was Mahomes in the fourth quarter compared to how important was Damian Williams throughout the entirety of the game. And I kind of see why you give, the quarterback in Patrick Mahomes the MVP. He made that comeback. He led him. Damian Williams did score the go ahead score, and then the steal score, which probably didn't even need to happen in the first place.
No.
So, pat on the stats a little bit. Damian Williams looked good the entire game, though. So there is that argument. but it also kind of plays in the fact that the quarterback just means more to the team. Mahomes, like, if it's, Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback and not Patrick Mahomes, that comeback's not happening.
Right. And that's what, yes, Williams scored the touchdown, but how'd they get down there?
Yeah.
And that's what it boils down to for me. I think you could have made the argument for Damian Williams, as much as I hate to say it. He's always been known to have a good game here and there. And he had a good game. A lot of the stats, if you're just watching box scores, like you said, that was padded by that very end of the game kind of garbage timey touchdown. But, Mahomes, I think, did more again to come back from that double-digit lead than what Damian Williams could have done in an individual effort. And MVP is most valuable player. Who was the most valuable player to that effort? And I think that it was Patrick Mahomes. I think it was right. I think you could make a case for Damian Williams, but I don't think he was more valuable to get that comeback than Mahomes was. If you're just handing the ball off to Damian Williams against that run defense, that doesn't happen. The run game, I think, is an artifact of Mahomes opening it up, being able to get the ball downfield, and opening that up a bit for Damian Williams, especially later in the game.
Like, I actually think that if Damian Williams would have scored these touchdowns, at least one of them earlier on in the game, kept him in the game a little bit longer, wasn't a double-digit point deficit at that point then, I think when he scored, I know that it shouldn't matter, but it was just with how the game actually played out and just how, instrumental Mahomes was to this comeback and to this victory. I think it's why he got it. You can definitely make a lot of cases for Damian Williams as as a Super Bowl MVP. Multiple touchdowns, he had over 100 yards. I think he was the first to have, he broke some record, I think, for how it went down. I think he was the first running back in Super Bowl history to have the go ahead in a game stealing touchdown or something like that. So yes, there is a reason why, and there's a reason why that there's a lot of people that are pissed off about it. But I don't think you can fault either one. I think they're both fine choices.
Yeah. All right. Last thing that I wanted to discuss, and I read this actually on Roto World, not Twitter. I didn't think it was newsworthy. It's just an agent talking, but Tua's agent has stated he hopes he doesn't have to start as a rookie. So, going beyond that, the context he gave was Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, and all of a list of other quarterbacks that had benefited from waiting for a year before they were thrust into game action, being able to sit, being able to learn, being able to pick up on what's going on. So, my first question is, if you're an NFL GM and reading that, does that turn you away at all? I mean, obviously not more so than the hip injury, but you get what I'm saying. And the second part of this is, do you think his agent's right? Is it better for quarterbacks to sit for a year?
To the first part, no. I think it's just the agent speaking his mind. I don't think this has anything to do with Tua's health or with Tua's ability to play. I think most people would hope that they could have their first overall, or their first round quarterback be able to sit behind a veteran and learn. That means there's no growing pains, or there's very little growing pains. There's no chance of fucking up his psyche because he's so young and developing as a human, as a person. But as for the second part of the question, I don't think it's as bad as it used to be. I think a lot of coaching staffs, a lot of offensive-minded people within these teams have kind of gone away from trying to acclimate the player to their scheme instead of now fitting their scheme to fit around the player. And you look at what Sean McDermott did with Josh Allen in Buffalo. We know that Josh Allen isn't a great passer yet. He's very inconsistent and all things around that. But he based his entire offense to fit what Josh Allen can do well, or at least his coaching staff did. Is what Kyle Shanahan's done with his guys. So I don't think it's as bad as it used to be. I do think that you wish these guys could sit, get as healthy as they can, learn with the veterans above them. But it's not like what Tua will be coming into if let's say he lands into Miami. is Tua playing over Ryan Fitzpatrick that much of a difference? And is Ryan Fitzpatrick gonna? I mean, yeah, still teach him a lot, but Fitzpatrick's gonna teach him as a starter or as a backup. So I think it comes to, do you have the offensive pieces around your first round pick quarterback to make him successful, instead of like he has to sit because this is, it's just some unwritten rule.
Yeah, and I agree with that too. And I'm going to drop the first one of the draft season. Landing spot matters, right? And if he lands in a spot that has pieces around him that's just missing a quarterback, if he has a line or has wide receivers or lands in a spot that has a running game that can take pressure off of him, I think that you can learn and grow in that situation as a quarterback. I think that there are ways that coach can protect you, can scheme around you, and that's not going to hinder you or stunt what you're able to do. Now, if you can't land in a situation like that, let's say you do land in Miami, like Dwayne Haskins, you land in Washington, where you don't have that around you. That can really stunt your growth as a quarterback. It can force you to press if you're pressed into duty at that point in time, and can stunt your ability to grow. Now, obviously Josh Allen, notorious example, has been able to overcome that some. I think Kyler Murray is going to be fine, having had to do that in year one. But I do think that from what we saw out of Mahomes and some others, and I'll know more once I watch the tape out of Tua, some guys will benefit from having to wait and watch and see and learn, and other guys are just more ready to step in and play than others. So I'll know more after I watch Tua extensively, and I'll have a stronger opinion on it. But at face value, I think the landing spot really depends on how much of a true statement that is or isn't, with a little bit of a preference towards, probably better if they sit for it.
I mean, if they
half the year.
I mean, like if they draft him, whoever drafts him commits to him as a starter right away. So he has all of OTAs, he has all of training camp, he's all preseason, and all his practices as the first rep, like as the starter. I think that goes more into him, into this player being successful when he gets the chance to play week one. If they're going to, into it half-assed or splitting reps, well, let's say he does land with Miami.
Quarterback competition, blah,
yeah,
blah,
like
blah.
He's
all the dumb shit coaches do.
Yeah, which is good because you want to have healthy competition. But this is a first-year player who now needs to get up to NFL speed, who needs to get comfortable and build chemistry with his playmakers around him. With Devonta Parker, with coming back from from ACL injury, and Preston Williams, whoever else they draft, with Mike Gesicki, with hopefully at least two better running backs.
Assuming he lands in Miami, of course.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just using him as an example because that's been his most mock draft spot that I've seen him in. I think if they commit to him early on, that can also help him into the start of the season where there's not this, he's competing, he's playing with ones and he's playing with twos, and he gets that could also hurt him, in those early games in the season.
Yeah. All right. So that's takes on shit I read on Twitter. So let's go ahead and get into the news now. There's a little bit of this, not a whole lot to discuss though.
News.
All right, Steelers signed GM Kevin Colbert to a one-year contract extension, or Colbert, not sure, to a one-year contract extension that's going to take him through at least the 2021 draft. Are you done typing?
Sorry, there is some like very small breaking news. I didn't want to actually break it because this doesn't matter.
Yeah. So basically, they're just going to stick with him for another year or so and hope he can get this ship righted, I guess. We'll see. It puts them in a position to make the change if they need to. The Raiders signed Jalen Richard to a 2-year contract extension worth $7 million, 4.6 of that guaranteed. Oof. So all that conversation we had about Josh Jacobs getting increased passing work might have just gone down the drain there. Sounds like it's going to move more gradual than a boom.
I wonder if this is them pointing on to maybe signing a veteran quarterback. Why? Like I don't like this is like the Bengals signing, re-signing Gio Bernard. Like you have what should be a very competent running back who can cover all three facets of the game, or all two facets of being a running back. Why are you bringing in Richard? Who
depth, I guess, but at the same time, at $7 million, 4.6 guaranteed. I mean, that's a little bit more of a chunk than if you pick somebody up off the street or whatever. But I mean, Jacobs did have shoulder problems. He did have some issues with the workload, and it does give them solid depth. I mean, Richard can be productive as a 2. It's not a ton of guaranteed money, and I'd imagine it's more functionally a 1-year deal than a 2-year deal.
Does that move the needle for you at all about Josh Jacobs?
No.
Like,
I mean, I never expected
from 1 to 2.
No, I mean, I never expected that he was going to jump up immediately to be, a 70 or 80 target guy from a 27 target guy in year 1. I think it's going to be more gradual than that. If I were going to project him today, I'd probably have him in the 40 target range. To add on a bit and have it more gradual. From a workload standpoint, I think it's going to be more gradual than it is going to be a huge jump for him.
Okay.
The Eagles announced they're not going to hire an offensive coordinator. Instead, they're going to opt to name a passing game coordinator and a run game coordinator. Former Broncos offensive coordinator Rich Scangarello is expected to join the staff, but his role's not yet been announced. And quarterback coach Press Taylor has been named the passing game coordinator. So we've seen teams do this in the past, especially when that team has a head coach that's calling plays. So
I can't see this working. I don't know if it's worked in the past. I've not looked into this.
Kyle Shanahan is notable. Sean McVay is notable for having doing this, and so is Bill O'Brien.
Okay, but I'm assuming there was some success with how at least those 3 have turned out.
I mean, Shanahan just played in a Super Bowl, and McVay.
Well, I'm
saying
saying success. I'm saying with the success in the actual season that they did it, not with future success afterwards.
Right, so this is the season the 49ers did that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what I'm saying. Sure. Like, McVay did it, I think, can't remember if McVay was the year they had success or not, and Bill O'Brien has done it, I think, nearly his entire time there.
Okay.
Up until recently. Basically what it does is it just allows the coach to implement their game plan and then put it in a running game coordinator and a passing game coordinator's hand. It essentially functions as a quarterback's coach and a running backs coach to implement the actual game plan. So
you just expect
the play
Peterson
caller out of it.
Calm.
So yeah.
So you just expect Peterson to keep calm.
Okay.
Plays. All right.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's like the new way with all these offensive head coaches that can't give up being an offensive coordinator. It's like the new way of doing it, but some teams have had success with it. So
sure.
The Chiefs signed running back Elijah McGuire to a reserve futures contract. So for everybody that freaks out about Chiefs backs, there's another one that is at least going to be around for training camp.
At least he's athletic.
Yep. The Jaguars hired ex-49ers GM Trent Baalke as director of player personnel. He was with San Francisco from 2011 to 2016. So Kaepernick years.
I saw a lot of hate when this happened on Twitter.
That's because he went from having a really good team to a really not great team. And, as far as his personnel decisions and stuff, I think it's another lackluster hire by Jacksonville. Just like I thought, people love the Coughlin hire, but he was an old school guy, and I thought it was a lackluster hire. So
you may need to find a third team if your 2 favorite teams keep making these questionable moves here.
Yeah, no shit, right? I'll work on it. The Browns hired former 49ers defensive backs coach Joe Woods to be their new defensive coordinator. So I actually like that hire. The Browns defense is something I saw a lot of potential in going into last year that didn't really capitalize on that. And I thought what Woods was able to do with the 49ers defensive backs and really turn what was a weakness for them into a strong suit. In addition, I mean, the pass rush helps, but, I think that he's coming from a strong defense under a strong defensive coordinator that can really do some good things with that Cleveland talent that's there.
Yeah.
Ron Rivera stated Alex Smith will be part of Washington's quarterback battle if he's healthy enough. So Smith has always maintained that he's going to try to come back and play. So we'll see how that pans out. I don't think you take it away from Haskins. I think you got to give it another year during the rebuild to really determine if he's it or if he's not it.
I mean, Ron Rivera wasn't a part of the coaching staff when they draft him, and we've seen this happen a lot where, especially recently where
Josh
if they
Rosen.
change coaching staff, they want to get their own guys.
Yep. Josh
I'm
Rosen.
not saying Josh Rosen is the perfect example of that. So I guess we'll see.
Yep. No, I agree completely. It's something to keep an eye on. Vernon Davis announced his retirement after 14 seasons. Meanwhile, Jordan Reed could be cleared to play from his concussion before the 2020 season if he so chooses to. If I'm
you know that Vernon Davis won a Super Bowl?
I did.
I did not know that.
I did know Vernon Davis won a Super Bowl. 14 years in the league.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Good job, Vernon Davis.
The Chargers signed head coach Anthony Lynn to a multi-year extension. So, guy that I was really in favor of getting canned because the team underachieved gets extended for a few years.
I guess we'll see how this works going into potentially Philip, Rivers less or ex Philip Rivers as less. Wow.
Yeah.
We're done.
Tyrod Taylor or something.
They'll draft a quarterback in the first round. I think they have a top 12 pick.
Tom Brady in Los Angeles.
Oh, my God.
The 49ers have signed passing game coordinator Mike LaFleur to a contract extension. So there you go.
His brother. Yeah.
Matt LaFleur's brother.
LaFleur.
No word on if he's related to Peter LaFleur or not. Antonio Brown, yet again, has apologized to the NFL for his outlandish behavior. That's just in here because it would feel weird not having a show where Antonio Brown's mentioned.
He's going to find a way to keep himself relevant for as long as he possibly can.
He will. The Panthers reportedly went to see Cam Newton work out in March prior to making a decision on his future with the team. Speaking of people that will continue to try to make themselves relevant, Frank Gore's hoping to play again next season if the right opportunity comes along. He's 36. And
wherever he plays, you better fucking hope there's a main starter ahead of him because he will eat those carries away.
He will. He's just gonna outroad him. And Sammy Watkins is committed for the 2020 season after speculating about sitting out. So
yeah, that's not pop up right as we started the news segment.
Gotcha. All right, let's go ahead and start to take a look back here and see how much of this we actually remember saying.
Beer Fueled Look Back.
All right. So, let's see how we did here. So what we did here is we power ranked them, we graded the draft, and we gave some, shall we say, opinions on how we thought this was going to go. So, the team we power ranked first, the Mighty Midgets, came in first. They won the championship. So we nailed that.
Boom. I don't know. This roster looks pretty. I guess Barkley completely dominated in the playoffs. So
I'm Jackson and Newton, we felt good on. Barkley and Fournette, in Johnson, we felt good on. I mean, that was.
Well, I'm not saying that the roster was bad at the time. There's a reason why he was first in our power rankings. We loved his team.
Yep. And apparently, you got enough out of some things. The emergence of Devontae Parker paid off. Deebo Samuel late paid off. Mark Andrews was really, really good to have around, given O.J. Howard underperforming. And that Patriots defense actually probably didn't hurt too much either. Lamar Jackson, Barkley, Fournette. I mean, there's plenty here to like.
Oh, yeah.
The notes we had here is that it was a little thin at quarterback and tight end. And Dan hated the Deebo Samuel pick in the second round.
I don't know why.
I don't know why either. Looking at everybody Deebo Samuel was behind. The only thing we can figure out is that we thought going into the season Justice Hill and Darrell Henderson would have been a bit better fit, and then needing quarterback and tight end help. I think Sternberger was in that area too.
Yeah, we expected Deebo to have at least. I mean, this is when Pettis was still very, very much hyped for his breakout year. There wasn't much word yet on the camp issues. I think we did this before training camp even started. So there was a lot of mum here. But either way, the Deebo Samuel picked really helped them. Obviously, the emergence of Parker playing a big fit there. Fournette being a consistent beast to the Barkley injury. and Lamar Jackson, which is probably the reason why he won it. And New England, he had the Patriots defense, which I believe he drafted. And we shitted on that pick too, I think.
It worked out. I mean,
worked out. Historically good fantasy defense worked out. So
yeah, it did.
He did trade Cortland Sutton, and
I caught that.
I'm sure he probably wish he'd get that one back.
Yeah, especially for the Cortland Sutton a 2021st and 2022 second for Odell Beckham, Andy Dalton, and a 2025th.
I mean, I guess it was more than likely the right trade at the time. No one expected the Browns, especially Odell, to take this hard. So
no, we didn't. So probably the right trade at the time. Hindsight's always 2020 though, and that's a little rough in hindsight. All right, coming in second was the team that we had ranked fourth. We both wanted to cry about him taking Kyler Murray at the 1-4 and not Miles Sanders. Both said he will regret not taking Miles Sanders. Too many quarterbacks. Drafted A.J. Brown at 2-3, and you liked it. So I can see that, honestly. This is a team that had Drew Brees, Sam Darnold, Ben Roethlisberger, and now Kyler Murray in a one-quarterback league. And, this kind of was one of those things where injuries to Brees and Roethlisberger made this look better in hindsight than what it was when we reviewed it in preseason. I mean, Murray definitely Murray at this point was a godsend because you had the bout of mono with Sam Darnold, who didn't progress the way we thought he would.
Oh, yeah.
And then the UCL injury to Ben Roethlisberger and the thumb injury to Drew Brees, where they both missed significant times. That absolutely paid out. Now, I will stand by what I said with Miles Sanders in a one-quarterback league and Kyler Murray going by that far, though. We're looking at this running back core of Le'Veon Bell, James Conner, Kenyon Drake, Mark Ingram, Tariq Cohen, Patrick Laird, Quadri Olison. I mean, outside of Drake, who's not even a sure thing next year, you had injuries to Conner, underperformance from Bell, and Mark Ingram really being the only thing there that panned out. I'm going to stand by that because it is Dynasty. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And I still think that Miles Sanders, while Kyler Murray will be viable long-term, given that it is single quarterback, I still think Miles Sanders would have been the better pick there.
I mean, there's no question Miles Sanders is the better pick there. Miles Sanders was the better pick when the draft happened. Miles Sanders is the better pick now. I mean, he's my 101 in this draft class. I believe you're 102, and we're just splitting hairs on that again anyways. Single QB league, yes, you don't. Granted, like you just mentioned, his injuries to quarterback early on in the season really, really helped that he had Kyler Murray. But the future outlook of your team, Le'Veon Bell's reaching his age plateau. Same with Mark Ingram. Massive unknowns with Kenyon Drake. Tariq Cohen may not be a part of the long-term plans. He has no future running backs that you can really be happy about. Even James Conner.
And he's solid at the quarterback position now. I will say that.
He is.
With Murray and Darnold, and you're going to get a couple more years out of Brees and Roethlisberger, probably at least another year or two out of those guys. So he is set at the quarterback position now. I'll give it that. And like I said, we don't hate players. Neither of us hated Kyler Murray. We hate ADPs in the format. And again, just long-term still would have rather had Miles Sanders. But hey, you know what? It worked out in single quarterback. I personally will not ever keep 4 starters on my roster. In this case, you got a stroke of bad luck and we're insulated. So that's a good thing. And by the way, still love the A.J. Brown pick, even more so in hindsight.
God, fuck yeah.
That's the wide receivers that went ahead of him. DK Metcalf, he had a better season than Metcalf, although Metcalf had a fine season. Mecole Hardman, Marquise Brown, Paris Campbell. Would rather had him ahead of all of them, and I think even long-term I would rather have him.
You missed the worst one. The guy who drafted before A.J. Brown.
Oh, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside.
Yeah,
who had every chance to emerge and couldn't. So
I mean, at least he has a wide receiver depth. He can make some trades. This team is, Jack, this is still a good-looking team moving on. Yeah, Brandon Cooks, Keenan Allen, who are two guys you can try to trade and move on from, build around A.J. Brown, build around DJ
Moore. T.J. Hawkinson sitting right there. Foster Moreau, Will Dissly. There's 3 tight ends right there that we like. This is a fine team going forward. Just get a running back this year, please.
You got to make some. You got to address the RB position. Not even just through the draft. You got to address You got some decisions to make with your receivers, though.
Yeah.
With your in regards to your future running back.
He did acquire Zach Pascal in free agency. That was the key acquisition. So,
Yay! I mean,
Yay.
I'm sure he helped.
it worked. It helped.
He got second. So
got all of his 2020 draft picks too. So address that running back position. And I think if you do, especially if a guy lands in the right spot, you could be vying for a championship because your first place team only has the 4th and the 5th, even though he's got a good roster.
If we're looking at this team next year, he is a good chance he'll be the number 1 guy, or at least up there.
Yeah. All right. Josh Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, which was formerly Billy's Bashers, 7th in power rankings. The notes were that other than Jacobs at the 1-1, we didn't care for his draft. We thought he needed running back and tight end help. Who did he draft?
He took Jacobs 101, clearly.
I like that. He took Arthego.
He's the guy that took
Arthego-Whiteside.
Oof.
Which was oof for me. So, I didn't like that. Did he not have a 3rd rounder? I don't think he had a 3rd rounder. I don't remember all this. Bryce Love in the 4th is a dart throw that could still yet pay off, but you obviously got nothing out of him. So, I agree with not really liking that draft. Looking at this roster, Carson Wentz is Carson Wentz. We know what he is by this point in time. He's a top 10 quarterback when he's healthy. When he's not, oops. Drew Lock, I think, is a good future lock, if you will, for quarterback. We debated this the last couple weeks ago. He was my quarterback 1 out of this draft class. Love the running back setup with Josh Jacobs, Christian McCaffrey, Chris Carson, Ronald Jones. I think that's good for a bit. Golladay, Juju, Woods, probably see a little bit of an area to address there at the wide receiver position next year.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. I'm wondering, you ranked him 7th.
Cooper, Griffin, McDonald, Gostkowski. He traded Dawson Knox for Vance McDonald. He got Drew Lock out of free agency. We gave him a C- on draft grade. It always makes me wonder if we were ranking on draft grade versus overall, but I could see me ranking this team.
We ranked him on draft grade, but we didn't.
I could see me ranking this team lower, not knowing what Jacobs is going to be with just Christian McCaffrey and some question marks after that if we step in the way back machine. And I wasn't the biggest fan on Golladay. I like Juju, but I thought Kupp was going to be better than Woods, and beyond that, didn't see a whole lot there. And
there's probably some better.
There's probably some other moves that happened too that aren't called out here. If I had to guess, it looks like this was fair. Looks like this was an orphan. So
yeah.
Well, I mean, whatever happened here, I like the way it looks now.
Yeah, I mean, you have 21st, 2022nd, 3 2020s. So
okay, we graded this one the top draft. Number 4 was Dak Street Boys. We gave it an A-. Has no 2020 draft picks, none whatsoever.
Well, that's not the worst.
This draft was Marquise Brown. Okay. Daryl Henderson, Justice Hill. Boy, I don't feel good about this now. Josh Oliver. Bruce Anderson. Yeah. Oh, man. I see why I liked it then. But, yeah, our notes on it were needed running back depth. We both hated Derrick Henry. Whoops. Well, I mean, he's a free agent this year. It is Dynasty, so. But, yeah, both hated Derrick Henry, needed tight end help, hated the Paris Campbell pick at 111. He broke his hand, so jury's still out on that. We had him ranked 2nd in power rankings. So, that's because it was before Andrew Luck retired. So he had Luck and Dak. Yeah, Zeke, Derrick Henry, Jordan Howard, Kareem Hunt, and plus the two running backs we thought were going to pan out better. Julio Jones, T.Y. Hilton, Michael Gallup, Edelman, Brown, Corey Davis. I can see why I love the wide receiver core. So, and Yeah, I see why this is ranked second and everything. I think that the not having draft picks is yikes. So, lost Lecter retirement, acquired Tyler Higbee and Jacoby Brissett in free agency, traded Anthony Miller for David Njoku. Okay, I can see that. Traded Josh Gordon 2022 fourth for Kareem Hunt. That was a great trade.
That's a fantastic trade.
Yeah, that was a fantastic trade. The Miller Njoku trade, I could see that. Both guys kind of underperformed. Just a swap of assets that really don't carry a lot of value at the moment. So, I like that. I still can see why I liked the draft. I'm a little scared for you with no 2020 picks. Not a good position to be in.
Yeah, you got to make some trades if you want to try to get some of those. I mean, you're not in super dire need. If you want to, I mean, Derrick Henry's probably the biggest sell in fantasy football at this point, given his touchdown rate and the unknown of his future if he doesn't re-sign with Tennessee.
And I think the wide receiver position's fine. Tight ends are a dime a dozen. I think Oliver is going to come on a bit in his second year.
He needs wide receiver depth. He's got fine starters in Jones and potentially Hilton, but I mean, he's
got Gallup, Edelman, Brown, and Davis.
He doesn't have. I mean,
Campbell. I like the depth.
He needs. I mean, I shouldn't say depth. Youth. He needs some youth to this team for his future. Without having a draft pick this year, and if the wheels come off, some of these older receivers like a Jones or Hilton, I'm not really concerned about Edelman unless Brady leaves.
Youth I'll give you because the only youth there that I'm pretty confident in is Michael Gallup. I like Marquise Brown. He was injured and really fell off at the end of the year. Corey Davis looks like he's been surpassed by A.J. Brown. And jury is still out on Paris Campbell. We don't know what he's going to be. So I'll give you youth. I like the depth, though. I think the depth is
youth
there,
is a better term I should have used.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree with you on
moving
that.
on.
All right. Moving on. The Miles High Club, formerly Rolls-Royce, we had them power ranked third. They finished fifth, so we weren't too far off there. We loved his starters, said he lacked depth. So, for starters, Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Watson, Matt Stafford were at quarterback. I can see why that kind of didn't pan out. Mayfield regressed. Watson was fine, though.
Watson was a starter all year. That's fine. I think he was a QB 2 or 3. So
yep. And Stafford looked like it was going to be okay. So running back Kamara, Joe Mixon, Miles Sanders, Lamar Miller, Royce Freeman, Brian Hill, Mike Boone. So I see why I said what I said, because outside of Kamara and Mixon and the draft pick of Miles Sanders, there wasn't a whole lot outside of those three,
And
not
rumor has it Denver might be switching a run block scheme. So
yeah,
up for Royce Freeman if they move to more of a gap.
Yep. Like it now. Wide receiver Michael Thomas, Adam Thielen, Jarvis Landry, DJ Chark, Ashton Tulin, Deshaun Hamilton, Alan Lazard, David Moore. Outside of Thomas, Thielen, and Landry, again, I see why we said depth, because it's about 3 deep, and then DJ Chark came on well, and I like Alan Lazard a lot, so there's that.
Chark is his number 2 at this point.
Yeah.
Thomas Chark. You got to look at replacing Thielen. Landry, it should be fine given
There should be fine
his skill set. He's fine for depth. His depth got a lot better with the emergence of Chark and with Miles Sanders being even better than what we expected.
Yeah, flipping Shepard for a 2020 for a 2020 and 2021 second, I thought that's a pretty good move.
It's a great move. It's a good move.
Fine at tight end for a while with Henry Waller, Gesicki. So yeah, I like that. Drafted Deshaun Hamilton as a free agency in the 3rd round. We both responded, how wasn't he rostered? Still agree with that. He hasn't been able to stay healthy. And Cortland Sutton emerged, so that didn't pay out. But with the hype that he was getting and with the upside that he had there, he should have been rostered at that point.
With Hamilton, yeah, especially coming off of the 2000. He should have been.
At that point in time, he should have been rostered.
He acquired Chark in free agency.
Yeah.
Good job, sir. Good job.
Drafted Darren Waller in the 5th, and neither of you knew who he was. Now, we knew who he was, to be clear. We knew who Darren Waller was. We didn't care who Darren Waller was at that point in time.
Yeah, we were a little off on that one. It's all right, though.
It's okay.
I'll make mistakes.
And we love that he stole Miles Sanders at the 1-6.
He fucking stole him.
And still agree with that.
Yeah, you should be thrilled, sir.
All right, let's hit a beer review or a drink review before we continue on.
Okay.
What's fueling Beer Fueled?
All right, Dan, how was your Moscow Mule?
I mean, it's fine. It needs to be made better. I will be the first to admit this is not made well.
That's a you problem, though.
That's a me problem, not a not an anybody else problem. But I like this ginger beer. I like Krabby, so it's still a fine drink. It's basically just being mixed with vodka. I don't think I made it, or I don't think I put enough of the lime juice in it. And if I really wanted to get fancy and be actually, prepared for a show for once, I would have put mint in it. But it's fine. It's definitely drinkable. I'm not going to pour it out or anything. So. Ooh, breaking news.
Cardinals expected to release David Johnson.
Boom.
There it is.
How did it come out as non-breaking news in Fantasy Life? That's ridiculous.
I've got it in
Sleeper had it right. It's breaking news.
Yeah. No, that's definitely breaking news that they're expected to release David Johnson. So we'll have more on that in free agency preview. But yeah,
Rams reporter, hold on. This might be even bigger news. Maybe not. The ESPN Rams reporter, Lindsay, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, 3 without the U, expects the team to attempt to trade Todd Gurley this offseason.
Okay, I mean they might. That would make some sense. So
as most teams should after.
Yeah, running back carousel. Get ready for it.
Oh God, we're gonna have to talk more about Malcolm Brown.
This will be fun. No, we're not. Darrell Henderson. Remember when we ranked your draft good for Darrell Henderson and Justice Hill? Darrell Henderson.
All
right,
he's coming for you.
Team 6, Catfishing and Nante Teo. They were 8th in power rankings. They finished 6th.
6.
Yep. Notes were needed running back help. It was Dalvin Cook, David Montgomery, Latavius Murray, Marlon Mack, Malcolm Brown, Mike Davis, Jerick McKinnon.
I stand by it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Cook and Mack were basically what you would have been running with all year there.
And he took Montgomery. I mean, that was so.
We like
these notes when we use these notes. These notes are made with them not making their picks.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So when they make their picks, obviously it's going to look like, they.
We had the draft results, but we went through the team first and then kind of assessed how the draft fit that team. So,
yes.
Dan, you thought he could blow up his roster and start over. I thought he was a playoff team. He did kind of blow things up a little bit. So he traded Tyreek Hill and Sterling Shepard for Mike Evans in a 2020 second.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, probably about even value at this point.
I think I would prefer Hill over Evans, but
yeah, more big
I would prefer the 2020
playability.
second over Shepard though. So
yeah.
Fine.
Oh wait, traded 2020 first and a 2021 first for Marlon Mack.
Oof.
That's steep for Mack. I like Marlon Mack, but I don't think he's worth 2 firsts. Wow, that was actually really good. Traded Geronimo Allison for John Brown. Love that trade. And acquired Malcolm Brown in free agency. So,
well done.
Geronimo Allison for John Brown is an absolute fleecing. That was very, very well done.
What the fuck did you make that trade? That had to be like before preseason.
It did.
When people were so, when idiots like me were so like, Geronimo Allison could be a thing.
So, yeah, there were moves. The Mike Evans for Tyreek Hill thing is really preference. They're both top 5 wide receivers. I agree that I'd rather have the 2020 second over Sterling Shepard. I thought that the trade for Mack was a bit steep, as much as a fan of I am of Marlon Mack. But did address the running back help, I guess, but at what cost? Well, we know the cost. More than I would have paid. But the John Brown thing was really well, and Malcolm Brown kind of panned out. As far as wide receiver depth goes, John Brown, Mike Evans, Cooper Kupp, Preston Williams, James Washington, Mohamed Sanu, Hunter Renfrow, Cole Beasley. So, I mean, really, Brown, Evans, and Kupp are what you're running with there, and Preston Williams before he got hurt. So that worked out.
I don't
see
hate
why
it.
I didn't like it to begin with, but I don't hate it now.
I think it's
To
fine.
agree.
I think you can run that out and feel confident, especially if Kupp can return. If the Kupp can be a part of the Rams offense, we saw earlier on in
I
the
have
season.
found the only roster where Jesper Horsted is on it. Holy crap.
What?
Jesper Horsted is on this roster.
He has 5 tight ends, including Jesper Horsted. Bless you, by the way.
Do you know who Jesper Horsted is?
I'm sure I will when you
So
tell
you
me.
remember when the Bears lost every tight end that they had? Jesper Horsted
God.
and PJ Holtz or TJ Holtz were the only two that they had left.
You know when
the
he made
Bears
this move?
fifth
You know when
string tight
he made
end.
that? Because I think Kittle missed some time. Walker was obviously an IR at that point. Blake Jarman was on IR at that point.
Call Waring never panned out. It was probably because
he was on IR
somebody
too.
to start. Yeah.
That's
why
well,
Jesper
that's
Horsted's
fucking
rostered.
amazing. What a process.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Awesome. Both of you hated that he traded all 3 2019 second round picks that ended up being Deebo Samuel, Darrell Henderson, and Justice Hill. Yeah, I would rather have those 3.
I would be thrilled to have all 3, especially if the Todd Gurley news actually does happen.
And just Deebo.
I expect
him
to draft the running back at that point.
And just Deebo in general. I could see trading 1 or 2 of those, but I wouldn't have traded all 3 of them.
No.
He's got 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, a fourth, and a fifth this draft, though, which is a good draft to have picks.
He's set up well. I mean, he needs quarterback.
Moves.
A lot of question mark at quarterback. I mean, I know a single QB, so Tannehill, Matt Ryan, and Trubisky should be fine. It just depends what the future looks like.
All going to be based on the
them,
move.
really.
Yeah, it's just do your homework. It's going to be based on the moves you make this offseason, how good this team's going to be. What you trade those picks for, what you draft with those picks, just make your moves calculated.
Is barely a fringe rosterable apart in the 1 QB league. I can't believe it reached that from how high I was on him last year. But
indeed.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to 7th. Powerhouse was 5th in power rankings.
Not a powerhouse.
His draft pissed Chris off. Okay. He drafted Hardman at 1-9, Anderson at 2-9, which he thought was terrible. Dan couldn't believe he drafted Daniel Jones at the 3-3.
I still stand by that comment.
I think I still stand by the fact that this pisses me off. Hold on, I want to look at the whole thing now. Mecole Hardman, Rodney Anderson, Raquel Armstead. I can see why I was pissed off, and this still pisses me off.
Yeah, he took. Yeah, I mean,
he took DeMarcus Robinson. That worked out okay, but man,
we were always low on Mecole, so I'm sure we had Campbell, Brown, Jaws,
Brown,
even Isabella, all over him.
Brown, Deebo. I mean, even in hindsight, that's still a bad pick. Oh, yeah, I still hate this draft. By the way, that draft still pisses me off. Needed running back depth, so the running backs are Chubb, Gurley, and then Duke Johnson, Chris Thompson, Raquel Armstead, Myles Gaskin, and Rodney Anderson. Yep, still need running back depth.
I mean,
he traded AJ.
He might be in a blow up mode. He might be in a blow up the roster.
Looks like he is. He traded AJ Green, received a 2022nd and a 2025th.
This is the guy he traded with Mike Evans too.
Yeah,
that's fine for Green. I think in the 2022nd for Green.
Yeah.
It's fair.
I'm okay with the Mike Evans trade. You got 2 usable pieces. Njoku for Duke Johnson. Sure. Draft grade was a D, and I think that's the lowest one we gave out.
It's not a good draft.
No. All right.
Especially looking back at it.
No.
Sorry, Powerhouse. You
still pissed me off.
It's time to recharge because you're about to not pay your bill.
Yeah.
Go out.
Does have all 5 draft picks this year, so that's good. Caden's Killers, 6th in power rankings. Notes here, we didn't like skipping on Miles Sanders and taking 2 wide receivers in the top 5 with N'Keal Harry and DK Metcalf.
Still believe that.
Yeah, Metcalf panned out, though. Just with...
You wouldn't take Metcalf over Sanders, though.
No, I wouldn't. And looking at the running back depth with Aaron Jones, Sonny Michel, Darius Geis, LaShawn McCoy, Jamal Williams, Damian Harris, Jonathan Williams, Ito Smith, Rex Burkhead, J.J. That's a mouthful. A lot of guys there behind Aaron Jones.
I always still stand. I
still stand by Darius Geis.
Yeah,
but
yeah, for sure.
You should have been insulated. Wide receivers.
That depth isn't very good.
AJ Green, DK
After
Metcalf,
Jones and
N'Keal
Geis.
Harry, Tyrell Williams, Emmanuel Sanders, Geronimo Allison, Larry Fitzgerald, Andy Isabella, Allen Robinson. Some things to like there.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a team that I look at now and I'm just like, man,
there's a lot of fringe
there's
here.
a lot of ways this could go, and I don't. Only a first, fourth, and a fifth round. I think that this is. You got some pieces to build around, but there's some things that need to blow up here too.
There's a lot of decisions you have to make with having Josh Allen, and I was never against him as a fantasy quarterback, even though he's been a lot better than even what I expected. It might be time to try to move on from Aaron Rodgers. Jones is a massive sell high again, just like Derrick Henry with his matchup touchdown rate, and sharing the backfield with said Jamal Williams. Michelle has kind of hit. I mean, it's tough. Like there's a lot of running backs here that we know and that were of use during times.
But really
this is not
right
great
now.
Depth though behind these guys. I just don't think it is.
This is a team that I think is headed towards rebuild.
See, it's not. I won't say rebuild. I think retool. I mean, like you have Metcalf, you have Harry. Well, if guys can rebound,
you've got things you can build around. But
sure.
Okay, retool, sure. You don't have to fully blow it up. But I mean, Geis has had a couple of good games and is unproven. Harry's unproven. So I mean, you kind of are right, because that's what you do when you rebuild. Is you get high upside talent and you trade some of your known commodities, like an AJ Green for future picks. And really, he traded for AJ Green, and I think I would rather have the 2022nd.
If I'm him, yes, of course.
Yeah.
I'm not trading for Green unless
he also
I
got
feel
rid
like
of John Brown for Geronimo Allison.
Oh God. Oh, Caden. I mean, I'm not gonna. There's no way I'm defending this trade. This is a terrible fucking trade, but it has good receiver depth at least, though, because you still have Metcalf, Harry, Robinson,
potentially good receiver depth. Let's put it that way.
Well, you have a good top three, potential, or at least a good top.
I know you like N'Keal Harry. I like N'Keal Harry. You can't say yet that N'Keal Harry is part of a good top three, though.
That's fair.
He hasn't done anything. You can like the talent. He has the potential for a good top three. But to say it's a good top three right now when DK Metcalf has flashed in some very good spurts, and I wouldn't call him boom bust per se, but you think he could be a little more consistent. And when N'Keal Harry hasn't shown anything yet, you potentially have two very, very good young receivers. But if there's one thing I'm learning from baselining wide receivers, holy shit, is it a crapshoot.
I want to know how this team looks after this 2020. Like, there's so much unknown with this team.
Yep.
There's a lot of unknown.
Beer review.
You already done one?
No, I didn't. You did.
You didn't do yours?
No. We got distracted by David Johnson and Todd Gurley.
Oh, okay.
So, no, I completely forgot to do mine. That's why I just hit on it again.
Okay.
Because I got distracted and forgot I was drinking. All right. Dark and Stormy. Really, really quick. The rum complements nicely with the ginger beer. I think it accentuates the ginger. The ginger stood out more before I added the citrus to it, weirdly enough. I think the citrus kind of killed the ginger spice to it. But again, the milder kind of cidery backbone and ginger spice that Krabby's brings, I think makes this a more pleasant and much more easily drinkable cocktail than what ginger beer normally does for me in anything. So overall, I'm happy with it. I actually measured, so it was pretty on point as far as my mix goes.
At least one of us, showed up for this mix.
Yeah. Like I said, I measured. I didn't eyeball it, so. Mostly because I knew. But like I said, I perfected it too. I did have a little bit too much rum in it at first and then squared that away. So
that's fair.
All right. Roadhouse.
Getting to the nitty gritty of these teams.
Yep. Finished ninth. We had him power ranked ninth. We said he needed a development quarterback. He had Goff and Russell Wilson. So
he still does.
Still needs a development quarterback. Needed depth at running back. Yeah. It was Melvin Gordon, Adrian Peterson, Frank Gore, Matt Breida, Devonta Freeman, Ty Johnson.
Yeah, he needs
that didn't pan out at all.
I mean, he's gonna have a top 4 pick, so he's praying. He's fucking praying that one of CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Jeudy goes ahead.
Yeah.
One of these top 3. But he's in a good spot because Cam Akers is a very good RB4. So
yeah, we didn't care for his draft, but he only had 2 third-round picks, so it's hard to care for a draft when you only have 2 third-round picks.
Yeah, he traded C.J. Anderson for Adam Humphries.
He did. His third-round picks, by the way, were Jalen Hurd and Deontay Johnson, so neither of them panned out year 1. But C.J. Anderson for Adam Humphries is good. At least Humphries was on the football field. Acquiring Brashad Perriman in free agency also worked out on the stretch. So, couple things to hold on to. I like the wide receivers with Hopkins, Diggs. Oh, Hopkins and Diggs. And Ridley.
I'm blowing up this roster if I can, by the way.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good tradable pieces.
A lot of good tradable pieces here. Travis Kelce, for example. Greg Olsen, if he catches hype. I mean, you've got the nursing home at tight end behind Kelce, so.
I mean, Hopkins can yield you very nice wealth. Diggs it's got potential.
Commit to a 2-year rebuild.
Yeah, this is where you can't half commit because some of these guys could, I'm not gonna say they're gonna reach a cliff, but you're in a spot where you don't your lack of depth is very concerning.
Yeah.
And especially a running back, which really needs to be the staple of all championship rosters. Like Melvin Gordon is not even a very safe pick. Like there's no real sure thing here. If Gordon leaves and goes somewhere else and joins the committee,
yeah,
you're fucked.
Yep. All right, number 10 or finish 10. I don't. We had him power.
Yeah, we got this
10.
one right.
Swanee's G-Spot Fairies, formerly Gridiron Gang. We said he needed help at quarterback after Garoppolo and Haskins, and then picked up Gardner Minshew. So got a little bit of help there. Hated his running back situation, which was Tevin Coleman, Kerryon Johnson, Devin Singletary, Darwin Thompson, Jordan Wilkins, Damian Williams, Tony Pollard. So yes. Both were super pissed he took Devin Singletary at the 1-8. Still am. Devin Singletary had a good season, but it was the Bills' run blocking, so I still don't like Devin Singletary on his own. And the underlying metrics back me up. That offensive line gets worse. Devin Singletary is going to go downhill.
Yep.
That being said, he went into full rebuild mode. New owner halfway through the season that tried to play the tank, and I like what he did. He got rid of Vance McDonald and acquired Dawson Knox. I think that's a good move.
Yep.
Traded Odell Beckham and Andy Dalton in a 2025th for Cortland Sutton, a 2021st and a 2022 second. I love that move.
Love that trade.
Traded away Njoku and got Anthony Miller. Again, I think that's just 2 pieces being swapped out based on a need.
And then you got David Njoku back.
Yep. For Duke Johnson. And then he acquired Gardner Minshew. So, I mean, where he's sitting right now is where he was sitting, or better than where he was when the season started. I like the spread at wide receiver for the future with Cortland Sutton, Chris Godwin, Christian Kirk, Terry McLaurin, Anthony Miller. I think that is a really, really good wide receiver core for the future.
I think if he does, so he has 2 firsts and a 5th.
Yep.
I see Damian Williams on his roster.
Yeah, I do too.
Try to move him for I think a high 2020 second. See if you can find. Like, I'm not sure how you guys' picks are played out for the 2020 draft of where guys are going to be drafted from. This team still needs some help, but
the only thing I can say is insulate the running backs and get a quarterback. Really, looking at the tight end situation, the wide receiver situation, I actually think those 2 positions are in pretty good shape.
Depending on where his second first is, I'd be looking to trade back.
Yeah,
if you can trade for like a 2020 second and a 2021 first, like even if it's a late second, it's all about trying to hit on some of these home runs. With it being a single QB league, you don't need to draft a QB high. Don't be like the guy that took a Kyler Murray at the 104. You can wait and try to get, borrow with that mid-second or Tua or guys like
you're
that.
going to
to
get
build
somebody
from.
okay in the third or fourth if you can move that back. I would say get a running back with your first. Try to address the quarterback, and honestly, like I said, I think the wide receiver core looks good going forward. I mean, if I'm rebuilding, I would love to have Godwin, Kirk, McLaurin, and Sutton.
Just Godwin and Sutton, like with Kurt as my 3, and even McLaurin, you can 3A, 3B with Kurt McLaurin. You're set. You are fine for the next 2 to 4 years. You should be fine
at minimum.
Yeah.
And tight end with Goddard, Herndon, who never really got off the ground, and Dawson Knox. I think that there's 3 really good lottery tickets there.
Oh yeah, for sure. With Goddard potentially having more of a role as Zach Ertz gets older.
Yep. Dawson Knox flashed a lot, and he's a guy that we really, really liked, and we thought Herndon was poised for a breakout before he got suspended and then immediately hurt after he came back.
Herndon is a great buy.
Yep.
In all dynasty leagues.
All right. Look at my Woodhead. He tanked early on and took over a terrible team. Finished 11th. We had him 12th. So
we got the top. We got the bottom 4 pretty much spot on.
We
did a pretty good job on. I'm not gonna lie.
We did all right.
We did all right with this.
We said he had
with this guessing
by far the worst roster at the time. That he needed to blow it up and start over. 2 to 3 years out from competed. Hated Fant at the 112 and hated Keyshawn Johnson at the 5-1. we hated a 5th round pick.
I like Fant.
I've softened up on Fant.
And look, there's a reason why I think Josh and Brown and Debo would have all been ahead of him for us.
Yeah, he should have been a 2nd round pick, not a 1st round pick. But overall, I'm fine with Fant now. In hindsight, Fant was fine. Keyshawn Johnson at the 5-1, still hate that. Looking at this roster, I've still got to say that a ways out from competing. You've got a wide receiver core that's led by Nelson Aguilar, I think is the most productive wide receiver on that roster.
Oh my Jesus, man! Like,
there's D.D. Westbrook there too.
I don't say this often. Well, I do in single QB. It's fine. Trade Mahomes. Like Mahomes is fine. I get it. You're gonna have your quarterback stapled for 10 plus years. You have nobody fucking else with him.
He doesn't have,
on this whole roster.
Have another quarterback though. It's Marcus Mariota and Chase Daniel.
That's fine. You're not going to be competing for 2 to 3 years. So start getting some draft pick. You can probably sell Mahomes in a single QB league for a 2020 first plus, especially in this league.
Yeah, maybe.
There's a lot of veteran guys if you want to go out there.
I'm not giving a first round pick for anybody in a single QB. For any quarterback. I said I ain't giving up a first round pick for any quarterback.
Oh, fuck no, we wouldn't. I'm not saying we would. I'm saying that
trade it to the guy that's hoarding starting quarterbacks.
Trade it for take on anybody. Take on Trubisky and that dude's 2020 first. I don't know. But find a way to try to leverage Mahomes and get more.
That's your most tradable piece. Carlos Hyde ain't it. Raheem Mostert.
That's his only tradable piece.
James White, I guess. Sell James White. Sell the shit out of James White because that's your only other tradable piece.
For a 2020 second.
Yeah, if you can.
Try to.
Take a third if you can't get that because you need picks.
I like his tight ends.
Yeah, no Fant.
Fant Smith.
Yeah. They're both going to be fine.
Trey Burton,
trade one of them.
Yeah.
Trade one of them. And honestly, I wouldn't even be opposed to trying to move back out of that first and get some additional draft capital later on because you need dart throws right now. You need dart throws and you need people to hit, and you're not going to do it with just your base round picks plus an extra 4th. You need to trade. Need to get some extra some extra picks in the first 3 rounds. Whatever you can do to do that, whatever you can leverage a Mahomes or a White or a Mostert, or a Johnny Smith or Noah Fant into, you need to do that. And get
I'm not saying you can't bounce back from this.
Not next year.
This is going to be tough, though. This is going to be tough. Even in 2 years, he doesn't have enough draft picks to make this a quick turnaround.
You don't rebuild it in 1 year anyway. So you trade it off. You get some draft picks. You make some dart throws, and then you maybe have to flip a couple of those guys too before you can get it right. So
have you ever seen a roster where Nelson Aguilar is the team's wide receiver 1? It's not Josh Gordon. It was at the time, but it's is not now.
It's probably actually D.D. Westbrook. It might be the
Is
one.
it though? I mean,
don't know.
I'd take Aguilar over Westbrook. It's
I
not
don't know.
Riley Ridley. We know that much.
No, I have not seen that. I have rosters where I had to start him as my 2 or my 3, but
I don't mean to shit on your team too much, like my Woodhead, but
yeah,
I want to see. Let us know how your team looks at the end of next season. I'm interested. I'm bought in to see what you can do.
Yeah,
with the full off season. Don't sell Mahomes for nothing. But
yeah,
you got some work to do, buddy.
Looking at some of these trades, Hunt for Gordon was. I mean that's basically troubled upside for troubled.
You never
upside.
trade for Josh Gordon,
right?
Never.
Geronimo Allison for Taylor Gabriel was. I don't know what we were gaining there.
I mean, you got a 2023rd from him. That
the 2023rd's the key.
That's
thing
fine.
there.
He's worth less. He's worth less than that. So
most certain free agency's good. Trade him while the trading's high because he's not going to be any good next year. He's been cut 3 times. He's a 27-year-old running back on a team that uses him by committee. Flip him. Do not get emotionally attached to him. Flip him.
Yep. 2022nd, if you can. 2021st. I would start with that. Any second round pick this year or next year is what you're looking for Mostert.
Yeah. Okay.
Last one.
We had him 11th. He finished 12th. Started tanking early. We said he needed to completely blow up his team and start over. Lack of top end talent and really needed help at running back. I mean, just looking at the top end talent here, Kirk Cousins is his only starting quarterback. And Mason Rudolph, Kyle Allen were the other 2. At running back, it was Phillip, Lindsey, Austin Eckler panned out. Flip him.
Yeah, with this roster, I love Eckler.
I like Eckler too. That's why you trade him with this roster.
With this roster, he's not worth holding on to because this is at least 2 years.
Can possibly flip Phillip Lindsay too.
I would.
Wide receivers: Robbie Anderson, Antonio Brown, Miles Boykin, Jamison Crowder, Marvin Jones, John Ross, Mike Williams, Auden freaking Tate, and Russell Gage.
Hey, this is a better receiving core than like my Woodhead.
Yep,
probably by a fair amount. And
that's by a Robbie Anderson and a Jamison Crowder. Jack Doyle, Jimmy Graham, Jay Sternberger, Jordan Akins. Sternberger, I'm holding on to.
Yep.
So yeah, this still needs to be blown. Although the Marlon Mack trade for 2 first-round picks is pretty good.
I like it.
I love that one. Jamal Williams for John Ross. I'm never trading for John Ross ever. And
you traded Jamal Williams. It's fine.
Yeah, I'll take Jamal Williams over John Ross.
I would not, but we're not debating.
For those just tuning in, I hate John Ross.
I hate both of these players, but it's okay. Anyways, I need a shower now. Just saying.
I actually do have to shower after this, and it's not just because we talked about John Ross and Jamal Williams. That's a cold shower, is what that is. And acquired Jack Doyle in free agency. So, okay, I will say this: 2 first, a second, 2/3, 4th, and 2 5ths. Good.
I like it. It's a good start.
Like that. Get some future draft capital too. When you get to the draft, when you look at what's on this roster and the guys that we just said flip, get yourself some draft capital in 2021 also. Give yourself some things to play with down the road.
And don't be afraid. If you can get a build-up piece with this roster, draft picks are worth a shit. They're worth the highest during the actual draft. I'm assuming you can trade during this draft. Explore those options because you need youth. You need multiple youth pieces around here. Explore options for players that you have. Even explore draft pick. Try to move back and gain more. Or get a lesser potentially, upside, player with another pick on top of it to kind of help shape up this roster a little bit more and a little bit quicker.
Yeah, agreed. All right, that's all we got. Thanks to Derek for giving us the opportunity to do this. I actually love sitting around and picking apart rosters and trying to say how things would do. I'm actually pretty impressed with how well we did.
We wouldn't go back and change a lot. No. Which is a good thing. I mean, there's still
some
hate
takes
things,
I don't
we still
remember
like things.
making. There's some things that, we were wrong about. That's always going to happen. But I think we were right about more than we were wrong about. And I think that the most we were off, was
There is like a
2 spots.
a fifth.
We're off by 4 spots on one person. Everything else is off by 2 or fewer. So I feel pretty good about that.
If you're anyone from this league listening with these bottom rosters, don't take too much offense when we shit on your team.
No,
we're doing it to help you. We're doing it for fun.
Dan and I both have rebuilds that are in that same position.
I have a league. It's a 16-team super flex shot and premium. I have 6 firsts. My running backs are worse than that team's receiving core. Yep. Rashad Penny is my RB1.
I have a league where I had no starting quarterbacks until Drew Lock and Gardner Minshew got their starting jobs back.
Shit happens.
A super flex league. Things happen, and it's just honest, constructive feedback of if we were the owner of that team, what would we do or what would we have done? We completely understand it's all a guessing game. Nobody's perfect at this. We try to be good at it, but nobody's perfect at it. It's just if we were the owner of that roster, what will we do to straighten it up? We both have rosters that are in rebuild mode. We both have rosters that compete, and that's a year in and year out thing, and it's just the ebbs and flows of the game, and it's what makes Dynasty so fun. So, if you have a bad roster, especially those of you where it's notated that you started taking, it's actually not saying you suck. It's saying that, hey, we think you made the right move. Tanking was the right call, and here's how you continue to build up on that. In our humble opinion, again, we're not perfect at this. Our opinions, as you saw with some of this, can be very, very wrong. And there's some things we'll stick to. And everybody's entitled to that. You're entitled to like Devin Singletary, regardless of how wrong I think it
is. Let's go.
Where are we going?
I don't know.
Okay, we're done. We're done. Thanks for tuning in at Hot BFF, at Theory BFF, at Beerfield FF, Beerfield Fantasy Football on YouTube. We'll be back next week at some point to take a look back on the 2018 draft class as we continue to work on the 2020 draft class in the background. So continue our look backs with 2018 and what our dynasty advice is for the players there. Dan, any parting words?
No. We do like doing these, so if there's any other listeners out there that wants us to, to overlook your teams, overlook your league, have fun with this, we can't devote all of our, on-air time to doing these, but we
definitely have some open weeks though. So if you have an idea or want it done, throw it out there. We got another one in 2 weeks, so
we have no issues doing, bonus episodes from time to time just to throw them up there for 30 minutes or so and see what we think. So there's. We like doing these. These are fun for us.
They're fun for us. We just get to look at things and spitball. Gets us away from statistics. So, thank you for tuning in. Thank you to Krabby's Ginger Beer for really providing beer for 3 episodes with Dan and I splitting the first drink and then the cocktails. So we super appreciate that. We haven't tossed it out, but definitely if you have something you want us to try, do not reach out to us and do not send it to us. That would be illegal. And by that I mean reach out to us and we'll arrange sending it to us if you got something you'd like for us to try. We don't accept Patreon or really throw ourselves out there for money or anything like that. So beer is a great way to say thanks if we've helped you do anything.
And if you don't feel comfortable sending us stuff, that's completely fine. If you want to let us know what to try, we
can try to find it or try to get it.
We have means of getting our hands on a fair amount of things, especially if it's beyond the local distribution of said brewery. So if there's a recommendation for you guys for us to try to get something, we'll do the best we can to meet that.
Yep. Speaking of beer, Dan and I will be potentially or most likely brewing a Hoppy Red Irish Ale coming up here in, I believe, not this upcoming weekend, but the following weekend. So we'll be able to talk about that experience. And, I've been doing it for a while, but it'll be interesting to get Dan's thoughts on air.
I'm fucking excited for it.
All right, we'll catch you next time. See ya.
Later.